From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fairbanks Evening News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Our top story, yet another delay in the case of the Fairbanks Four. Today, Superior Court Judge Paul Lyle extended the temporary stay regarding sealed evidence until May 5th at 4:30 p.m. During the hearing, it was revealed the Court of Appeals has finished their review of sealed materials, and defense attorneys for the four men said they are hopeful a decision will be made soon. Also in attendance via phone was Jason Wallace, a convicted murderer labeled as person affected in the sealed matter. Court documents allege that matter is a statement made by Wallace regarding the 1997 murder of Fairbanks teenager John Hartman. Bill Holmes, who was convicted of a double homicide earlier, penned an affidavit confessing to the murder and pointed to Wallace as the attacker in the beating that led to the 15-year-old boy's death. The Fairbanks Four are scheduled for an evidence hearing in October in the case. Trial is set to begin next week for three men charged in a string of armed robberies in the Fairbanks area. Keith Downing and Brandon Charles, both stationed at Fort Wainwright, as well as a third co-defendant, Devin McMillan, are charged with multiple counts, including first-degree armed robbery. According to court documents, the three men drove around and jumped out of their vehicle, robbing victims at gunpoint. Downing was arrested first after authorities found his dog tags at the scene of one of the robberies. His co-defendants were arrested shortly after with the assistance of Fort Wainwright Military Police. Superior Court Judge Michael McDonald ruled yesterday that all three men will be tried together beginning Tuesday, March 31st. A Fairbanks man was arraigned this week in district court after allegedly choking a woman multiple times. 28-year-old Demola Walton is charged with a single count of second-degree assault. That's a Class B felony. Police say they received a call from the screaming victim and arrived at Walton's home to find the woman bloody and beaten. She told police she caught Walton cheating on her with another woman. The victim's blood alcohol content registered at a .434 shortly after the alleged incident. Walton is currently being held without bail at Fairbanks Correctional Center. U.S. Army soldiers and the Alaska Air National Guard are doing several joint training exercises this week to strengthen cooperative operations. An Air Force C-17 arrived at the tarmac at Fort Wainwright today, so soldiers and Air National Guard personnel can practice loading equipment and assets into the aircraft. Soldiers from the 1st Battalion 52nd Aviation Regiment were tasked with loading 2 Black Hawk helicopters into the C-17 along with several large crates. The exercise helps both military branches catch any mistakes or issues with the equipment before similar problems can occur while on deployment.
Something that not a lot of guys coming out of their basic training in AIT get to do. So this provides us a great opportunity to train them on our end, our crew chiefs, on how to load the aircraft, and then provides the Air Force a great opportunity to interact with us and see how we work, and then we get to see how the Air Force works, and it helps build that bond.
The Fairbanks North Star Borough Assembly ratified a 3-year labor agreement last night with borough employees represented by the Alaska State Employees Association. The bargaining unit includes about 50 borough managers and directors. The assembly also dug into education funding for the first time in 2015 as the borough school district is in financial trouble. The school board approved a depleted operating budget earlier this week and hopes to backfill $11 million in cuts with increased state and borough funding. Last night, the Assembly voted 8-0 to approve a one-time waive of $800,000 in lapsing maintenance funds. Now, that money will now support district operating costs. The school board has already earmarked those dollars to go towards reversing cuts to behavioral aid and elementary tutor positions.
We felt this was certainly a time when the school district could use this extra $800,000.
We have to make this many cuts. Why should we be lapsing our operating dollars back into a maintenance fund? Right now, major maintenance isn't our problem. It's operating dollars.
When we come back, there was music coming from West Valley High School today, but without instruments. We'll explain. Also, the kids at Joy Elementary got a treat yesterday from some creatures with big eyes, beautiful feathers, and sharp beaks. These stories and more when we return. Welcome back. A Fairbanks man accused of threatening people with an axe accepted a plea deal from the state. Randy Kangas was originally charged with felonies, including first-degree burglary and assault. Now, yesterday, those charges were reduced. Kangas pleaded guilty to a single count of felony criminal mischief, as well as misdemeanor criminal trespass and fourth-degree assault. Court documents allege Kangas entered a residence and threatened the occupants with an axe, later damaging items in the home. Kangas could face up to 5 years in prison. His sentencing is set for July. Instead of completing a normal morning routine and reading and writing, West Valley High School students were busy rocking out. Students and faculty members took the stage impersonating a variety of music artists in preparation for the West Valley Air Band show competition. The performers are showing off impressive dance moves while adding clever comedic styles. Judges have been appointed to critique and choose a winner.
Airband is an annual event. It's a West Valley tradition that goes way back before the time that I was here. So it's been going on, I don't know, probably 20 plus years.
And it's phenomenal. You make really good friends. Like, we made t-shirts for ourselves and we're the Airband Squad, and it's so much fun for students and an opportunity for them to, like bring out their own personality in the school, because it's kind of every day, do your homework, this, that, and this is just like a time for everyone to get it pumped up and excited, because you saw how everyone was in there. They were screaming, kicking, and clapping, and it's just kind of a big community for everyone.
A highly anticipated spring event each year is all set for this weekend. The Carlson Center is hosting the 14th Annual Women's Affair, a trade show organized specifically for women. The event kicks off tonight with a wine tasting. The show will continue Saturday, March 28th from 10 to 5 and Sunday, March 29th from 11 to 5. The Women's Affair will provide opportunities like networking with businesses, discussing health issues, exploring career options, and receiving tips for managing finances. Attendees can also see the latest fashions, enjoy a makeover massage, and pick up a new home decor and gardening information as well. Event coordinator Courtney Shannon says she thinks the public will love the look and feel of the show.
We've got over 160 vendors, great shopping. We've got vendors up from Anchorage, boutiques from Anchorage. We've got tasty food. We've got a bunch of information. Tomorrow and Saturday won't have the wine tasting, but we do have additional features tomorrow, including a health fair put on by U.S. HealthWorks Fairbanks and free seminars all weekend on all sorts of different topics.
Well, Facebook is on Santa's naughty list this year. A North Pole resident legally known as Santa Claus says the social media site is waging a war on Santa. He created a Facebook page as a public figure and at one point had more than 300,000 followers. He says that number has been cut 95% by the site. He's reached out to Facebook administrators for an answer as to why they are removing followers, but hasn't received a reply.
Earlier this month, which is March of 2015, I dropped 10,000 followers overnight, one night. I sort of looked at the figures the next day and boom, I was really startled. So I tried to do a little research to find out what it was. Nobody gave me an answer. And since then, and a little bit before that, I've been losing about 300 a day.
One of the more majestic and curious creatures of the animal kingdom is the owl. With its colors, the ability to swivel its head, and its sense of hearing, owl traits set it apart from other birds. Yesterday at Joy Elementary School, 3rd and 4th graders had the opportunity to see a couple of these unique raptors up close. A volunteer from the Anchorage Bird TLC Reserve educated the kids on many aspects of the owls, including hunting techniques, how their incredible hearing works, and how they reproduce. Tomorrow, the public will have an opportunity to learn about owls in a special presentation.
It's for our friends at Kramer's Field. It's going to be at the Thompson Cultural Center, and it's going to be an afternoon with owls. We're going to be there from noon to 4. We're going to do some what we call walk-by presentations, where you can just walk up to us and we'll talk about whatever questions you have, and then we'll probably have a couple in the auditorium there also talking about the birds specifically.
That is so cute. We all know I love my Harry Potter and the Hedwig owl. Really cute. All right, Mike Fussel's coming up next with the latest in sports. He'll have results from some early season soccer matchups and the play of the week. That's after the break.
And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here, filling in for Joe Cook to get you up to speed on the latest local sports action. We have plenty to talk about as we round out this week in sports, but up first, Interior skiers are getting ready to blast off the starting line at the 28th annual Sonot Kazoo. The races kick off tomorrow morning. The event includes a 50K classical and freestyle competition, as well as 40K and 20K freestyle races. The start and finish line are still expected to be on the Chena River. Despite the recent warm-up, race officials have designated a strict path for the safety of participants. Ice measurements last night were greater than 12 inches on the trail. The start will be moved to Birch Hill if the ice is considered too thin before Saturday. The final decision to relocate will be made the morning of the race. And the West Valley boys soccer squad played their second game of the season earlier today. They took on the Wasilla Warriors at the Dome in Anchorage. The Wolfpack ended up on top after a tough start. Shane Gillette had a first half goal for the West boys. Cole Thomas and Jacob Lurs each scored to rally the team for a comeback win over the Warriors. That put the final score at 3-2 with West Valley on top. The Wolfpack boys soccer team is now 1-1 in early season play. The team lost yesterday 2-0 to the Colony Knights, who are defending state champions. And West Valley will play down in Anchorage again late next month. A local group is working to get shoes back on the feet of interior children who are in need. Goldstream Sports is teaming up with several Anchorage-based organizations to collect used shoes. The donations will be distributed to children throughout the area who are in need of another pair of kicks. They've already collected around 70 to 80 pairs of shoes, but they can always use a little more help. The drive is ongoing, so you can drop off shoes anytime you're around Goldstream Sports, or you can organize a collection at your business and have it picked up by Goldstream themselves. While the store focuses on running and other types of exercising, you can drop off any type of shoe, even dress shoes. Goldstream Sports Manager Stacy Fisk says every shoe counts.
Take kids' shoes, adult shoes, even if it's a size 13 men's, we'll still take it. And what it does is it goes to underprivileged kids in the area or beyond, even possibly in some villages. And so we're trying to work with the school districts and working with the counselors there to try to distribute the shoes to the kids. They get a smile on their faces like Christmas time for them all year round.
And the Ice Dogs are taking on the Kenai River Brown Bears this weekend at the Big Dipper to conclude the Raven Cup. This is the final regular series season for Fairbanks. The team will be trying to secure home ice for postseason play. The Dogs are currently tied for first place in the Midwest Division with the Minnesota Wilderness. Both squads have tallied 80 points so far. Fairbanks will need to secure more points in their two-game series this weekend than the Wilderness, who have 3 matchups scheduled through Sunday. The Ice Dogs are 12-2 against their weekend opponents, the Brown Bears. Kenai River won in their last meeting, and Minnesota has yet to lose in 5 matchups to the Coulee Region Chill, the team they're facing in the final 3-game series. And for the play of the week, you, the people, have spoken. It's Edwin Erickson of Monroe Catholic getting the majority of the votes. Take a look at this. Erickson spins for the win, picking up 2 points deep inside Whaler territory. The 6'2" senior wearing the number 13 looked anything but unlucky in last weekend's matchup against the Barrow Whalers. He would go on to have a game high of 12 points in the 3A state championship game. To pick the next play of the week for Friday's top plays, watch for the I-5 interior top plays on Monday during the weekend recap. The KTVF College Hoops Challenge is heating up as teams reach the Elite 8. Kentucky, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, Gonzaga, Louisville, and Arizona are already there in this year's March Madness tournament. Check into webcenter11.com to see how close you are from the #1 spot, or if the madness has taken over your bracket, take a look at how many teams you have left to root for. And that'll wrap things up for sports tonight. Thanks for rounding out the week with me. For more KTVF sports, log on to Twitter, YouTube, webcenter11.com, and download our mobile app. And all the action doesn't stop on the weekend, so neither does the KTVF sports team. Check in tomorrow at 6 and 11 for the only weekend interior sportscast. Mike Schultz has your full weather forecast coming up next.
Hey everyone, welcome back into the Fairbanks Evening News for a Friday. Mike Schultz with you once again talking about the weather, and it was another great day across the interior. A little more cloudiness than we were expecting, but still, it's still just fantastic out there, almost 50 degrees. Not quite a record though, the record is 53, and we are looking at temperatures to continue right around 50 degrees into the weekend, and looks like most of next week too. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Here's our photograph night. This one's sent in by Franny, and she was able to capture another great sunrise. You can see the sunrise here on the horizon, and once again, a beautiful sunrise. We have lots of those in the Fairbanks area. And again, if you have a photograph that you want to share, by all means send it to photos@ktvf11.com. Here's your almanac. 48 degrees currently after a low last night of 20. The record high 53. That was set in 1940, like I said earlier. The record low 37 below in 1925. Sunrise and sunset, 13 hours and 9 minutes of glorious daylight. That's a gain of 7 minutes from yesterday. Here's our satellite and radar, and again, nothing really organized. Storm system way down in the south here, but that's not going to be affecting our weather at all. Again, the flow is actually coming out of the east, which is kind of unusual. It looks like more, that will mean not quite as warm as it has been, but still very comfortable, and just like I said, mid-level clouds for the most part. What's going on across the rest of the state? It looks like this. Over southeast Alaska, it's raining at Ketchikan, again raining in Juneau. A little rain around the Cold Bay area. And the showers are still hanging around Kodiak, 42 degrees there. Nice day in Anchorage, 50 degrees there. Up and down the west coast, temperature is very comfortable, 47 at Bethel. Not too warm at Nome, 21 degrees there. And Barrow, a little chilly at 3 degrees below zero, but look at Fort Yukon, 37 above. Lower 48 weather. Again, we're talking out maybe some showers over the Pacific Northwest, but the hot temperatures continue over the western side of the country. And again, going to be a hot one again tomorrow. And temperatures not too bad around Dallas, 70 degrees there. Still chilly around Minneapolis, only 36 degrees there, 31 in Chicago. And down along the Gulf Coast region, starting to warm up a little bit. 91 degrees in Miami, how about that? And over the northeast, a little bit of light snow in the upper sections of New York. And our satellite radar showing a pretty good little area of trough of cold air coming down, and that's helping to spawn those showers over the northeast. While out to the west, things look pretty good. High pressure really strong and maintaining its hold. And temperature-wise, you can see today they were looking at 92 degrees at Fresno, Los Angeles 92 degrees, Las Vegas 86. And even Redding, California, 82 degrees. So the warm temperature is continuing. And next week's outlook calling for the jet stream to remain well to the north, which means continued warm temperatures. Thunderstorms breaking out across the southern sections of the country and across the northeast. Not too bad either. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow in the northern sections. Snow showers expected for Barrow. Flurries at the Fort Yukon area, but mostly sunny skies in Nome. Here in the interior, we'll have cloudy skies for the Fairbanks area, then mostly sunny skies at Healy, with partly cloudy skies for Delta. Look at Healy, 54 degrees, very nice. Over southeast Alaska, the rains are going to continue there and become even heavier, especially around the Ketchikan area, with just showers at Juneau. Over the southwest portion of the state, partly cloudy skies at Bethel, rain likely in Cold Bay, and rain also at Kodiak Island. And down around the Anchorage Bowl, for the most part, rain and snow at Valdez, cloudy skies for Homer, but just partly cloudy skies at Anchorage. It's a Friday night, time for once again our Winter Trails Report, and this will be the last Winter Trails Report. We thank Beaver Sports and Northern Power Sports for sponsoring our Winter Trails Report. It looks fantastic this weekend for all the outdoor activities. It's going to be slushy on the slopes and the cross-country trails. And for you snow machiners, watch out for open waters on rivers, ponds, and lakes. Even also watch out in the higher elevations for avalanches. Again, thanks for those folks sponsoring our Winter Trails Report. Tonight's forecast, 22 degrees, increasing clouds, continued very mild. Tomorrow's forecast, 50 degrees again, mostly cloudy, but again, another warm day. And the extended forecast calling for a little bit of a cooler temperature on Sunday, then warming back up again for the low 50s for Monday and Tuesday. And the overnight lows will also remain quite mild at 20 to 21 degrees. And again, no precipitation in the forecast as our spring continues very nicely. And I think we are definitely clearing the way for a nice spring, the way things are heading out now.
I can tell you, I went to the comedy showcase last night, and Glenner was making some really good jokes about this time of year breakup. He said, you know, what is the one thing that everybody knows that you're going to find on the edge of the highway? And what is that? I think we all know.
We'll tell Fussell. It's a mattress.
A mattress. It's like we knew it was coming, but it was a great showcase, and that made me think about all the funny things. So what is the weirdest thing you've seen on the side of the highway this year?
I think a recliner, maybe.
Have you seen anything?
I haven't seen anything yet.
Oh, wait till the snow clears, you'll see it.
I saw a high chair today.
For cleanup, cleanup day is around May 7th, so when things start clearing out, you'll see all the ugly things.
I just saw a high chair, like perfectly set.
But also, you'll be amazed at how people pull together and clean up, do such a great job. We were the co-chairs last year for the cleanup day, and it was a great experience, wasn't it?
All right. Yes, it was. It was great. We had some great treasures brought to us. We had a trash. We had a trash contest.
But we put out treasures too.
We sure did. All right. Well, thank you, Mike. That'll wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we're glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, an Italian court has overturned a murder conviction against American Amanda Knox. That's up next with Lester Holt.
That's big. A reminder to tune in tomorrow night for the Saturday edition of the Fairbanks Evening News with stories on how the military will be working with civilian agencies on rescue missions. Also, a new play based on the life of Johnny Cash will be spotlighted. And, of course, your man, Mike Fussell, will have all the sports.
And we're going to leave you tonight with some more owls from Joy Elementary School. From all of us here at the News Center, have a good night.
What a hoot.
Yeah.